Pigeons 420. Mr. Grow It. And Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV. From the Stash Podcast.
So welcome to From the Stash Podcast. It's your boy Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV. Pigeons 420, starting off fresh, obviously, very, very smart way. And Mr. Grow It. We're talking about a thing that kind of frustrates a lot of us creators, anybody who actually creates content, especially 420 friendly content. And that's pretty much social media, YouTube, or the internet versus cannabis creators. It's a problem, man. It's a headache. It's the biggest source of anxiety in my life at the moment.
Yeah, it's totally been the biggest source of anxiety throughout my entire creative career. Well, it seems like creative career. There we go. Yeah. Good thing we started off with a good rip, boys.
Yeah, I mean, get this point going. We're talking about.
And for me, it was glorious from 2016 to 2018. It was nothing but sunshine and rainbows for the cannabis community on my end. But the moment that great cannabis purge of 2018 hit, that's literally when the anxiety, the stress and depression of it all just really sank in, that my existence on YouTube or as a creator in general could be extinguished at the push of a button.
Yeah, extremely frustrating to build up an audience, then all of a sudden, have that taken away from you like that. And, over the years, it forces us to actually branch out into different platforms, right? So not only back up YouTube channels, but also be on other platforms such as like the WeedTube and Instagram, stuff like that. But
Twitch.tv/pigeons420.
There you go.
420 Growers Club or CannabisLifestyleTV.com.
Own personal websites, MrGrowit.com.
Something like
that. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about in this episode for sure.
Yeah, man. You were the first person to get hit the hardest. Like, I mean, of everybody that I know of, you and I think Matt, Mr. Caduck were the only two that, his was the great Canada Purge of 2018. We'll discuss that shortly. I think he's got
twice, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So you've gotten hit pretty damn hard, man, with a really good group page, really. That's what's crazy.
Yeah. So I can talk about that. So the first channel I had was called Just Grow It. And I know a lot of people, some OGs out there remember that channel, but that was my channel to begin with. It started in 2015. I had to stop growing for a period of time. So I think it was like May 2016. I turned it into a community channel. So what is a community channel? It's a channel that is, I actually got the idea from gaming. People would submit in their videos to be featured on the channel. And I thought it was a great idea to bring into the cannabis cultivation scene because there wasn't one like that. So every day I would post a new video. It would be somebody else's video of submissions. I'd review the submissions. And then that channel built all the way up to about 75,000 subscribers. It had, I got some numbers here, 685 videos on there. It was getting about 1.2 million views within a 30-day period. I think it was about 1 million views every 30 days. At the time, it was the most viewed cannabis cultivation channel on YouTube. It wasn't the most subscribed to channel, but it was by far the most viewed channel on there. And really, that channel was a win-win-win, right? It was a win because the viewer was able to identify new growers that they wanted to follow. It was a win, the fact that the people who were submitting in videos, well, they got more subscribers, right? Because people were viewing their videos and going over to their channel and subscribing to their channel. So that channel ran great all the way up until I think it was 2018, April 2018, when YouTube gave one strike and then they terminated right after that. So the strike was for a hash making video, and then they didn't even give me any more strikes. It was just terminated, and the reason was for a legal complaint. So pretty sketchy, pretty weird how that happened. But that channel never came back, unfortunately.
How were you notified about that?
Email.
And then, did you you said you got one strike, and then you were done?
One strike for a hash making video, and then 2 weeks later or something like that, it was just straight to termination for a legal complaint.
Straight to jail. Don't collect 200.
And the funny thing is, still to this day, actually a couple days ago, I'm getting age restrictions for that channel. Channel doesn't even exist, was terminated years ago. God. And I'm getting emails about age restricted videos.
Have you tried to sign into it?
It doesn't even show up anymore on the drop down.
Have you tried to reach out to YouTube since like today and been like, hey, take a
Not
look
recently,
at this
no.
Give my
because
shit.
it's funny you say this because X Code A, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah,
He,
Stutter Kid.
Yep, great content creator, great kid. He gave a shout out to Silenced Hippie, Sasha. Not, I'm going to botch this, but I think it was either last year or early this year. He simply said to YouTube, "Hey, check out Sasha's or Silenced Hippie's account," and she was unjustly removed. She got her account back at 400 and some thousand or
Yeah, I remember seeing
390,000. So like this is why, maybe I'm jumping the gun. This is why part of me is I am not totally on board of the idea of believing that YouTube blatantly went out of its way to extinguish the cannabis community. Now, you can argue though that when we were all deleted, we were fucking vocal about it, and we screamed.
I got a
at least
petition together.
I screamed from the highest mountain. I created Twitter at Pigeons 420
Same here. Yeah.
because I wanted to speak to YouTube. My first year of existence on YouTube was literally to fucking bitch, on Twitter was to bitch at YouTube. And I do believe that we're too small. We're too small. You could have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and not have a voice on YouTube because you are just a speck amongst a grain, a heap of dirt. You know what I mean? And part of me believes that it was an algorithm issue because of issues like this, where Sasha gets her account back. I end up getting my account back.
I got my account back
a year later or something. X number of accounts ended up coming back. Now, not all accounts, despite appeal, came back. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know whether it was a purposeful extinguish, as I said, of the cannabis community, or if it was just a mass wipeout from the algorithm, because they were going through algorithmic changes during that time.
Yeah, and right now they are too, with changing, the restrictions for all these videos need to be labeled 18 or older, like mandatory, tons of videos. And I think that may be why some of our channels are being looked at. But I also know I've got plenty of random haters, which is crazy because I feel like I've got one of the most chilled fucking styles to making content. I'm very open to being like, hey, don't judge, be cool. But I still get random
That's worth
haters.
hating on, though.
I know. Someone's like, you piece of shit. Why are you being so
nice.
PC?
Yeah. Well, the reality of it is we all have trolls. And all it takes is one very vocal troll. And I also believe the same thing. I also believe that the reason my channel got hit was
reporting your content religiously.
You got one or two active trolls. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And then you create multiple accounts and you report a video multiple times.
There's the secret sauce, trolls.
It's gone. There it is. It's gone. And now, granted, well, since then, YouTube has actually instated new regulations for people that are false reporting, but it is what it is. There is some validity to spamming the system with reports, but yeah, I think it was, it's hard to say, but the feeling coming out after the purge, my anxiety, my depression, my stress involved in being a creator has tenfolded into the fact that I now am never sure whether my next video is going to be the one that terminates my existence.
Man, I'm sitting on 2 strikes right now. I just got out of YouTube jail. We've had to post on our other channel, which now our other channel's under attack like crazy too, but it was over links in our content to my website, which cannabislifestyletv.com, if you don't know, which just has videos embedded from YouTube. And they were saying I was promoting regulated goods. I was like, what? Either regulated goods, terrorism, kiddie porn, all sorts of really heinous stuff. So I assume regulated goods must be it. That was the list of things they gave it to me. I was like, okay. And I appealed one of them, got denied. That was for making dry stuff hash. That was a hash video. So yeah, Chris,
Very
obviously
dangerous.
Hash videos are dangerous. That's not a good thing to do. Even though it's legal where I am. It's non-solvent, complete dry sift hash. That was, I guess, no. And then a couple other videos too. One was a firecrackers making, decarb bud with peanut butter on just a shitty little sandwich. And my dumbass went ahead and I deleted these videos. I deleted 2 of the videos, and now I can't appeal those strikes because I deleted them. And I didn't realize that. I was like, well, maybe if they're just gone, I was like, I'll just delete these videos and put them on the website, just cannabislifestyletv.com only. Nope.
Yeah.
So then I talked with somebody. I finally got a hold of one of their support, heavier quotes, support staff. And they said, well, just wait until the appeal comes through. I was like, well, I deleted these 2 videos. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, you can't do anything then. It's like, okay. And then I got another strike. And because I was in my penalty time, they didn't delete the channel. So then one of the deleted strikes is gone. I'm like, oh, cool. All right. They just gone. No explanation. It's just gone. But then the other strike stayed. So now I still have 2 strikes again. So I was removed for another week after being off for a week. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I thought we were back. We did a live stream, and that next day we can't post for 2 weeks. Literally. And I mean, we didn't do anything wrong, but they said, again, the link's in the video, which that one, unfortunately, was to a seed bank.
That'll get you.
That got me there.
Yeah, they've actually changed the terms of service now specifically quite a bit over the years. And now they specify cannabis seeds as being regulated goods. So
I think that's
don't
where I
link to
really
seed
messed up.
banks. Don't mention it within your video. Link to seed banks.
If you do anything, pin it to the comment section. Pin it to the top comment, because
Even
the different
then,
I don't
accounts.
even know if I do that.
even then, that's a state, because you are now responsible as of this. Was it this year? You're now responsible for the comments in your comment section due to what was going on there with those facilitating child. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing about YouTube is they're not going to be very vocal. They're not going to tell you this.
No, they sneak it in.
They're just going to come at you full force because you're in violation of it. And that's another thing, is that there's no grandfathering in either. If your videos don't comply to today's terms of service, they are in violation and susceptible to being stricken.
My videos from 4 years ago, the ones that they hit 4 years ago. Not the recent ones, old videos.
Yep, that's how it's going to be.
Ones that I don't even like. I'm like, delete them, get rid of them.
That's why I'm going to get rid of a lot of my videos, a lot of my old videos, because I don't want to. I don't even know. I'm going to be conservative and say I've got 700 videos on my channel. I think it's a lot more than that, but I think I've got 700 videos on my channel. I'm going to have to delete over half of those in order to ensure that I am not going to be in violation. And even then, I'm not even going to be sure that I'm not in violation of, because it is so difficult to be a part of the cannabis creating community on YouTube, because you just don't really know where the ball lies and where your rights are and what you should be doing. If YouTube was very upfront and said, okay, squad, team, I don't want to see you guys posting seed videos. I don't want to see paraphernalia videos. Please don't toke on screen. Although I would disagree with all of those, I would abide by them.
Yeah,
if
they told me that,
I would be a token creator for you, for my subject, so that I could spread as much awareness as possible. If you give me the avenue in which I can create because clearly there's a place for me, because I'm still here. You're here. You're here. Everyone's here. You've still got what's his nuts, Jolioli. He's still here for some reason. And it's like, if that's the case, there's a place for us. What is that place? Okay, tell me. Is it because a lot of us grow? And this is where I feel we should also discuss, is that I think each and every one of us, I'm trying to point at you guys, I think every single one of us does something different than the other, with the expectation of being able to abide by the rules. When it comes to myself, I'll start because I've been rambling. When it comes to what do I actively do to ensure that I don't get hit by YouTube, I do not consume cannabis on screen anymore. Because I feel, so did I, right? For the first 4 years of my channel. But the thing is that I feel that a lot of us are blending two styles of content. If I can just narrow it down to these titles, because we're talking specifically about YouTube, I think we're crossing the line, when it comes to cannabis growers and cannabis recreational users. Although I feel that there should be an overlap, and one should not ignore that connection. That's what gets us. So when it comes to these things, I try to actively avoid consuming cannabis on screen. That's the biggest thing. And then the other thing is trying not to title my videos with anything too weed titled related, smoking cannabis related, anything along those lines. No hashtags or links. I don't know what you guys call those. Hashtags, tags. Anything. It's plain, it's Jane, it makes you think, it's guesswork, but that's what I do. So really two things in particular: no consumption on screen and no direct consumption. You could argue that yes, you do consume, but you don't see it. The last video I did that I consumed, it was my back to the camera and it was a plume of smoke going up.
So
you didn't know I was consuming. You're right. You knew, but you didn't know. It was a vape pen.
We'll see. Like in our video, Chris, we had you titled it very well. Where feeding nutrients, or something comparable to that. And that video,
how to feed bottled nutrients to plants.
Exactly. So that's where somebody could be typing in almost everything besides the word cannabis, and that still will come up, because I feel like in the contextual side, your channel has already shown cannabis. But let's say for the new grower, the new channel, the new person who's trying to get started, a lot of people in the 420 Growers Club working on an affiliate side to kind of get people going and show them the avenue of creating content. How do they do it? They struggle because they need search engine traffic, and those tags help, the titles help, the descriptions help. They can't do that if they want to be safe on that platform. So then they can't grow at the same time. It's really tough. It's like at our rate where we're at now, about 300,000 combined, it's easier to just put out a video that's like, oh, huge update, or oh man, and somebody's going to be like, what's going on? Because we can get 1% of our 80,000 to 100,000 people and still hit a good margin of views. As where when you look at someone with 10 subscribers, they put out a video that says big update. Nobody cares. They're going to get one view in 24 hours and be discouraged and be like, I'm not making any more content.
Yep. Whereas it's important that you do ride that algorithm and include the words harvest, cannabis, trichomes.
Yeah. And so it's hard. It's so hard to grow. You want to make this into a passion. It's a headache. You want to make it into a business? Oh man, it's very tough. It's very tough. That's why you got to, think outside of that one platform and build your own. I'm blessed that I've been able to learn how to build websites and do that kind of stuff. And have had, CannabisLifestyleTV.com as my other platform, working on an app and everything. So I don't got to rely so much, but the traffic and the views and the audience, YouTube, man, shit. We got, Chris, we got like 100 and some thousand views on that video. And I see it recommended every other day. And same with your video, Pigeons, with them too. I see it recommended on my list all the time, and I've watched them both thoroughly, fully. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I have two YouTube channels right now. For those of you who don't know, one of them is my main channel. It's just called Mr. Grow It. That channel's not monetized. And that channel I show plants, and I'm pretty open. I still do put, cannabis in the tags, description, title, things like that. And I just, I'm not profiting off of ad revenue because YouTube's not monetizing me, but there's links in the description, which are affiliate links. And that's one way of earning ad revenue. Now, my second channel is what I like to call advertiser friendly channel. It's a talk channel. And I've been trying to not show plants at all. And I found anytime I show a plant on there, even if it's for a split second, YouTube algorithms pick that up and they mark it non-advertiser friendly. So I don't earn nearly as much money as I would if it was advertiser friendly. If it's non-advertiser friendly, you get like a yellow symbol and you just get like YouTube Red. Anyone who's subscribed to YouTube Red, I don't even know if they call YouTube Red anymore, but it's a subscription service. So very, very little amount of money there. But if you, as long as you're not showing plants, and on my second channel, I'm not using cannabis in the title. I try to not do how to. It's more documenting and discussions. I think that's kind of the way that you can still monetize on YouTube, making this content. Which, not showing plants it can be boring, I guess. But
right.
We always get the hater who's like, he doesn't even grow. He just regurgitated information.
Yeah, right.
Okay, asshole.
Right. So my main channel is just focus on plants. I'm not worried about monetizing through YouTube. People click in the description. I can earn money. Great. And then my second channel, I'm really like messing around a lot to try to figure out the algorithm to way that can be monetized and ad revenue can show. Because, man, if you can monetize video and get ad revenue, it actually adds up these days. It pays out more than it did 5 years ago. So I'm really surprised with
everybody's
how much
at home
it actually
too.
adds up.
And that's a good point. You kind of knocked on a couple of things, to help those that are not just like, I know a lot of people that watch this are growers and smokers, but we do have a lot of creators that are watching us, the next generation of creators that are going to pass you and I, us, and they're going to be the next ones. You mentioned on it, Chris, you're using affiliate links and ad revenue to help with income. What else? What else can a creator do to help, facilitate that income at home?
Merchandise is a great option.
Merchandise is huge.
Now, starting off, a lot of people don't have a budget to just go buy, a big box of apparel. You're going to spend $700 to $1,000 because most screen printers aren't going to want to do a small batch. But you can use things like Teespring or Printful.
Teespring's great. I use
on-demand services. So as long as you can get a design made, you upload it and they'll fulfill the order for you. You basically split your profit with them, but you get something. And as
simple as your logo on the shirt, kind of like this. My man showed it to my friend, my man Air Force Demon. Yeah, this is an exclusive, but yes,
no one can buy this.
No one can buy this one, but yes, something as simple. You don't know. It's like I don't know how to create anything. Just throw your logo on the shirt, put your name on the back. My wife and I, that merch is a great one. My wife and I, when we first started doing this, every time we would do a push on Teespring, we'd make a few $100 in just a couple weeks, and it was like
bills.
Yeah, you know what? Dinner on the table, man. That's a great one. Merch, that's another good one. Myself, sponsorships is another good one. Do a little homework, evaluate your channel. How much do you feel like you're worth? I know when I first started my channel, I wasn't able to charge anything because the reality of the situation is the excitement of having that new product was what it was all about.
Yeah.
Whether it was a light or a trimmer or a growing set or whatever it was, nutrients. But at some point, this does need to sustain you, and you can't keep accumulating more and more products. I do recommend sponsorships start compensating you for your time, your effort, and your energy when it comes to creating and editing and filming and putting things together, and the conversation you're going to have with your wife about why you're spending so much time filming, editing, creating, and you know what I mean? It needs to be worth something. Now, everybody's dollar value is different, so you need to assess. I can't give you my dollar value to apply to your situation because this is the situation I've created. The views that you get on your channel are going to be specific to you, but evaluate your worth, understand what you can provide to that as a service to that company, and then negotiate. When in your terms, make it known that you're willing to negotiate. Be vocal, and it's a two-way path. So sponsorships is a good thing. It is another great way.
Yeah.
And as a cannabis content creator, I'll mention, you deserve to be paid for your time. You deserve to be compensated. Just because you're a creator that consumes cannabis or grows cannabis doesn't mean you're any less valuable to the people or the system than anyone else. So you deserve to be compensated, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
Well, dude,
don't feel bad.
Prior to me creating this kind of content, I created content for clients. So people would literally pay me anywhere from $100 to $200 an hour to go in and film and create and document content, edit it, and do all that. So you got to think about when you're approaching these, people, again, future creator listening to this, you're creating content for their company to use. And when it's a really non-biased approach because it's on your channel and with your audience, you're building that rapport for them in an industry that they're trying to tap into in a salesy, I wouldn't say scammy, but a lot of people in this industry assume it's scammy. They're like, get out of here. But if you're authentically tight with your audience and you're putting out products that are legit, you can really grow it into a business more than just a passion. But it's not the only way to grow because sponsors, a lot of them want to just give you free stuff on an affiliate side, and that works, but you got to know your value. Like Pigeons said,
doesn't pay the bills. An affiliate system is great, but you can't guarantee an affiliate system. You can't guarantee that income. So sponsorships is a good one. Personally, I think we kind of touched on this when it comes to our content, but diversification. Myself, I'm on an entirely other platform. I'm on a few other platforms. Patreon's been although going downhill in terms of as a business, is going downhill. My Patreon has been very successful, and I'm very thankful for all of my patrons who have really stuck behind me during these hard times. Like YouTube kicked us out of our partnership program, not like a week before Christmas. And it was my Patreon that stepped up to the plate. So diversification, create a big mistake I think is that people do is grow on every platform. Don't grow or grow weed plants on every platform. Don't just grow on every platform. Be unique to each platform. Bring something different to each platform. And then that way it's going to be valuable to your viewer. And I think that's why Patreon's been very successful for me. My Twitch has been very successful for me. Very successful.
Twitch, man.
Like the diversification, get out there, be free, be open, and certainly don't put all your eggs in the YouTube basket, because let's just say that basket has no bottom and it'll give out at any moment.
Unfortunately, man, there's not much leverage there. One thing I think we touched.
Sorry,
on,
I think Chris wants to say something.
Say it.
I stampeded over him for a second there. Go ahead.
I was going to say, don't let sponsorships be the end all be all. And I'm glad you brought up the whole Patreon thing, and affiliates is a way to do it. I've been trying to do less and less sponsorships. I really only want to partner with companies that I trust and have good products. I've made the mistake before in the past, promoting a product which I probably shouldn't have. So no longer. I like affiliates more personally. I like affiliates more than sponsorships because I have more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing a sponsorship deal and then you're making a video for somebody, oftentimes you're going to have to send that video to the company, and the company's going to be like, oh, well, we want this revised. We want that revised. And it could lead to more time. And then, you're spending more time, then you're making less money. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Because your time.
It's someone else's video. Your affiliations are yours, if I may.
So I'm just trying to, go more towards, less sponsorships, more through affiliate programs myself. I do have a Patreon, which has been helpful. Probably not as big as Pigeons or anything like that, but that is a way for people who enjoy your content to support you.
That's really what it is.
That's what keeps you going.
And I'm kind of a dick. Like I probably left a lot of money on the table because I tell sponsors, hey, this is the content we make, and you can fit into it or not do it. It's like if you go and buy a business, you're not going to change that business completely. You're going to want to run it, maybe make it a little bit better, but you're going to want to run it how it's been successful. And I'm like, listen, man, I'm not going to put some video that my audience is going to be like, this is a pitch. And I've done it in the past and people totally smelled it. Like, you're just selling a product here. I'm like, well, I like the product, but you can just tell because it's just simply endorsing, And at that point, I feel like my long-term value of my channel becomes lowered because I'm like, you know what? I'm just taking this immediate money. I'm not thinking long-term, where I'm hurting my value. People aren't going to trust my word because I'm like, hey, anytime, Dick and Harry, you got some money, let's do it. And that's not how I'm trying to be. So for me, for years, I didn't take sponsors on. I was just like, nope, not doing it. I'd buy the product, review it, and get lucky that sponsor would see it and then reach out to me and be like, hey, we'll give you a couple $1,000s. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's great, man. Give me a free product is most importantly. That's great. Mm-hmm. But so my focus was create my own product. And I'm a online course kind of guy. I've spent more money than I even want to admit on this podcast on courses online. And it's just insane, man. But it saved me a lot
no
on
shame.
college. Yeah, whatever. It's no tuition. Well, that's what helped me there. I didn't see any courses online that were really adequate when it came to growing. I saw them like, if you want to get in the industry and you want to be like a master grower or get a certificate to work at a dispensary, some shit like that. But not just for the home grower, and like there's Jorge Cervantes' book. There's a lot of good books out there, but there's nothing simple until Mr. Grow It put out this, 7 simple steps. That's what you need. It's the simplistic process when you
shout out to that book. Shout out to that book too.
I need a copy myself.
Yeah, for you guys that don't know, I do have a book called 7 Steps to Grow Cannabis. It's on Amazon. It's on my website as well. And actually, by the time you guys see this, I do have hard copies. So for years and years and years, it was first put out in 2016. And it's just been an ebook all the way up until now.
Sweet.
Finally, hard copies. So it is available on Amazon.
Good for you, man.
And if you do buy it off Amazon, please, please, please leave a review. That is huge. It's like so huge. It helps with ranking so much, and it's so hard to get reviews. So if you appreciate us, if you appreciate the book, if you like the book, drop a review. It's super helpful. But yeah, talking about Jorge Cervantes' book and Ed Rosenthal, awesome books, right? But if you're just beginning, it's so overwhelming. And that was one of my inspirations for writing the book, is I bought these guys' books and it was just like, man, there's so much to it and it's so detailed. And it talks about botany. It talks about, chemical reactions that's happening and stuff. And as a beginner, you don't need to know that. So my book is just kind of simple, straight to the point, general guidance on how to get started with it. So if any beginners are out there, pick it up.
See, and that's the approach that I think is the best. And that's where, for me, I was like, I'm going to build this club, this group that's going to be able to help people with one-on-one help, but also like a Facebook group without you having to have your real name on there. I know a lot of people don't want to put themselves out because, it is what it is. So you're worried about that. For years, you just saw my hands, just like you just saw Pigeons' chest. You saw my hands. So I built 420 Growers Club, and like my course first, like, was just so fucking elaborate, man. It was 60 videos. It was A to Z, how to grow cannabis, hydro, soil, DWC, like every sort of thing, man. It's stupid. It was honestly, in my opinion, that's just not the approach, because it becomes overwhelming. Someone's like, all right, so what do I do? Where do I go? So I literally just mapped out exactly what I do in my personal garden. I mean, A to Z, just how I do it. And if, doesn't work for you, that's your choice, but implement what I'm doing, and I guarantee you'll get good results, because this is exactly what I do. And I also mentioned, fucking Google does this all the time. You shut up, Google.
Oh, what did you say?
I just had a reminder for me. I don't know. I got reminders constantly.
Every time I say serious, she hears me.
I heard you.
My
They're always
assistant,
listening.
she's horrible, and she's horrible. She doesn't listen when she's supposed to. She doesn't even bring me coffee.
I know this Google embarrasses me in front of my friends. I'm like, would you knock it off? We're recording a podcast. I'm on a live stream, whatever. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's too
well,
funny.
anyways, yeah. So, man, I built A to Z how I grow, just only what I do. And then I do one-on-one calls with people. Because when I first started, man, I wish I had that kind of connection where I could be like, hey, dude, I'm missing this little thing. What the hell am I doing wrong? Or why is this plant yellowing over here? I've looked everything up. It looks just like nitrogen, looks just like potassium, looks just like calcium. What the hell is it my roots? And I'm able to say, hey, did you follow my course? They're like, yep. I'm like, all right, so I know what you're feeding. I know the medium. When's the last time you fed? Are you checking the runoff? Are you doing this, doing that? And I could literally dial it in a quick video call in like 5 minutes. And then we just smoke for like 40 minutes and hang out. And that's where I've been able to make money off of that, where I'm not doing my marketing work anymore. I'm just doing this. And I've been able to help so many more people, because I can literally dedicate the time to jumping on a video call. Every other day on the 420 Growers Club, I do a smoke session like I'm doing one today, just hopping on Zoom like we are here, just smoking,
Nice.
chilling with the people, and they'll ask questions and I answer it. But I wouldn't have had that capability unless I created this area, because YouTube isn't that place, and Instagram, none of these areas, they're not that place, because you're being bombarded by spam, can't say certain things, your notifications are so. I mean, I get fucking like 100 DMs on Instagram a day. And most of them are from companies who are just like, hey, we want you to use our LED light, or do this, do that, be a brand ambassador. I'm like, I'm fucking busy. So I rarely see the Gromies who actually hit me up. So having a platform and a place like I can do that, man. I have Patreon, but I don't really utilize as much, because I'm like, man, I got my own payment processor and all my shit there on my own website, run it there. And I'm hoping I can persuade eventually you two to go on the 420 Growers Club as well, because it's just a place where, like I said, I want it to be a safe haven for the growers, but also like the number one resource for people. Because I always wanted this when I was younger, when I wanted to get into the growing world. And the forums didn't do it. Well, the forums just didn't do it for me, man. And then now, I share as much as I can on YouTube, but the algorithm trying to push. If I put out a 2-hour video about like the safety precautions of being in the garden,
good luck.
Yeah, I'm not getting shit for views. It's just not being pushed out. And if I say the wrong thing and I talk about safety things or electrical or medical or health related stuff, that's just my opinion, I risk getting that video flagged and removed. So or I put all that effort in an hour and then editing and then rendering all that stuff and no one sees it. So it's such an uphill battle. If you don't have your own platform or your own thing, fuck, man, good luck.
Yep. You have to diversify. And that's, if there's anything that I can take away from what the purge of 2018 gave for me, was that I had way too many eggs in the YouTube basket. And I needed to make sure that if I wanted to, and at the time in 2018, I didn't know that I was going to turn this into a career. Like, are you serial? I was just growing and trying to help other people do the same thing. That was literally it. And then and then at 2018, that's when I turned to my Patreon. I turned to Twitch, and then I started to realize that there was a movement, there was a momentum, there was something behind me that I couldn't account for. And whether or not it was a couple, maybe 1,000 people deep, there was a rumbling, and I couldn't silence it. And the reality is that I needed to get out of my basket of YouTube and branch out to other avenues. And a lot of people told me, don't go to Twitch. It's not there. There's no viewers in Twitch. There's no audience. They don't buy into it. It's a bunch of young kids. And I was just like, I have to do it. Streaming live on YouTube is not safe. And that's when I had to kill my Wednesday Night Live show, which is a new cannabis news segment that I still do actually over on Twitch on Monday nights. But I would cover it. And the reality is streaming on YouTube was very difficult. Everything I talked about was getting demonetized or restricted. And I had no other choice but to either cancel the show or go to Twitch. When I went to Twitch, it was the smartest decision I ever made. I have made more in income and more in a community-based connection on that platform than I've done anywhere else. And it's almost solely responsible. Well, not solely, but it's a major factor in the decision for me to go full time. So there was a lot of lessons that were learned in that purge of 2018 that if I didn't learn, I would not be in this seat talking to you guys with this beautiful studio behind me today.
I don't think and talking about that purge, I don't know if we explained that yet in this episode, what exactly
we just
happened
talked about the
for
can
the
of purge.
We can put that back.
viewers.
Yeah. We'll have to cut that back in because
what was go ahead like what, like you had mentioned it was April 2018 that you felt the first rumbling.
The true purge was it was beginning of 2018. You start to see these channels getting deleted one after another, trickled into March. I'll never forget, in April is when my channel went down, and I was actually filming with NV Closet Med Grower. Shout out to him. He's a good dude.
Yep.
I was filming his presentation at his grow shop that he worked in at the time. And that morning, when I walked in, he's like, dude, my channel just got terminated. And it was just like, wow. And then like, as the presentation was going on, my channel got terminated. But anyways, thousands of channels got terminated over the course of, let's say, a couple of months. Right. Mm-hmm. And nobody heard a peep about YouTube. Would not say anything about why this happened. And we even had like High Times wrote an article about it. Like all these companies wrote articles about it worldwide. I mean, Spain, there was petitions. Like this was a worldwide impact thing. And then basically overnight, it was like June, I think it was, everybody got reinstated, and still no peep from anybody, no peep from YouTube on exactly what happened there. But for me personally, when my channel got terminated, I had to, go back to work, and I didn't make videos for the remainder of 2018. I was working full-time job, and I didn't know if I was even going to continue the Mr. Grow It and continue in this industry. And I remember specifically somebody who did was Mr. Canucks Grow. Once his channel got reinstated, June, July, August, September, and it was okay. His channel blew up in 2018, completely blew up. It's because everybody got kind of put back into their place, and a lot of people weren't creating content. So the people that were creating content blew up. Oh yeah, blew up.
And not to mention, he got deleted more than once.
He had to rebuild a whole new channel.
He got it to like 35,000 subs and then was deleted again. And I might be mistaken, but I think he was deleted again before actually getting his foot in the channel he's in right now.
Yeah, and got his Instagram taken down too, like right around that time. He had to make a backup one, and then his main one got taken down.
Like, and shout out to that guy for plowing through. You know what I mean? It was
solo dolo too.
I feel like it was his content that kind of sparked that fucking flame, and not only the creator, but the viewer. There was cannabis content to watch and to see and to flourish, and people started to realize, oh wow, hello. There's some content here.
Yeah, it was National Geographic and Cannabis. One of the best cinematographers in the game. I got hats off to him. Try to get him on the show, but he's busy as hell. So too busy editing.
Yeah, he's inspired so many people over the years. And like I said, I didn't create any content for the last half of 2018, and seeing where he went inspired me to get back into it. So I ended up quitting my job in 2019, just going full board from January 2019 and beyond. And here, I'm so glad I did, because now
here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. I was fortunate. Well, not fortunate getting terminated, but I was one of the last channels too. I put together a petition. You got terminated, and we didn't even know each other. We didn't talk.
I think I signed your petition.
Yeah, Remo, a bunch of people, and I reached out to a lot of people, and Remo got back to me. He shared it. I got a hold of High Times. They had included it into a story on their page. A few other people, posted. We got about 300,000 signatures. And then I was bombarding that Susan, whatever her name is, the CEO of YouTube, just bombarding her on Twitter from 4 different accounts consistently. Any post that she would do, I'd be like, well, yeah, that's funny that you terminated all these channels. I did nothing wrong. It'd say something. I know she didn't do it, but like, CEO, come on, boss up.
Don't, you're responsible.
Boss up. And what was really upsetting for me is at the time it was 28,000 subscribers or 29. We were just getting ready to hit 30,000. We had a big plan for like a pivot on some of our content to focus more on growing, because at the time Cannabis Lifestyle TV was just all things cannabis. We had cooking, interviews, just smoke sessions, how to roll, like all things just cannabis, hence the name, CLtv. That was the goal. And as the algorithm shifted, we started shifting more. And as growing became more of my passion, I started focusing more on that. But as we were doing that, boom, we get shut down. And I'm like, what? And I thought we were one of the safe channels because we do very like information-based stuff. At the time, we barely smoked on camera. We weren't cussing much. It was pretty scripted. And it was just really upsetting. And I at the time I was doing marketing. So I still do a little bit, but for clients. So I was been an entrepreneur for about 7 years now, like for my whole life, but not working a normal 9 to 5. But I got rid of 3 clients around that time. That was my main money because I started getting a couple sponsors, started making a little bit of money. I'm like, all right, good to go. And so I went back with my tail between my legs, like, hey, we've got openings now if you need any marketing work done. And I still continue to make content, but I ended up buying Vimeo Pro, uploaded to my website, and started shifting gears. I'm like, all right, well, I can't make any money right now. I can't do anything. My audience is no longer here. So back to work, normal entrepreneurial job, and then make more content. So I built my website more and started doing more original content just for my website. And that's when I started getting more traction, more people coming there. And I'm like, well, shit, I do search engine optimization for clients. I do web design. I do marketing. Why am I not doing it myself? Why am I just on YouTube? Why am I just a YouTube channel?
That's right. Yeah,
and that inspired me. I'm like, dude, we are bigger than YouTubers. We're content creators who happen to use YouTube as a platform.
Yep, absolutely. And I didn't know that you guys got your channels back a couple months after the purge. I didn't get mine back until 2019 in like January, like the next, or maybe it was like 9 months. It was 9 months later that I ended up getting my
Mine was
channel
like 4
back.
months total.
And yeah, it was death. The feeling that you mentioned of whether or not I was you were gonna continue as the Mr. Grow It. I thought the exact same thing. I was like, there's no place here for a Pigeons 420. I was like, I just produce gardening content. And when I saw, I was much smaller. I've always been smaller than you guys. And when I saw you guys getting, well, that's just it. I was smaller, and then you guys all get fucking deleted. And then I was like, look at the little guy. Hey, I'm just gonna sneak between the cracks. Boom! I was gone. I was then gone, and then you guys had to either start fresh, or did you guys got your full accounts back?
We got our full accounts back. Well, I
Full
did.
accounts back.
Yeah. Okay. I ended up I only had like 15,000 subs at this time, and I ended up getting my account back as well, and continuing on. But yeah, it was a very nervous, and it's made a very anxious man out of me.
I know. I almost get a buzzkill as we're talking
The
about
reality, yeah, you do. But the reality is like any situation, there's a silver lining there. And you have to focus on that, because that's where you're going to gain your momentum. That's where you're going to gain your desire for success. And if it wasn't for that very dark, negative time in my life, we said it. We would not be here where we are right now. And I am surrounded by things to remind me of what I have to be thankful for. Because if it wasn't for that moment, to put that fire, and we said all the reasons from Mr. Canuck to losing your platform to everything, if that fire wasn't put under my ass to just to understand that I do have a reason to be here, then I don't think I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am right now, because I'd still be just in a mediocre attitude, just creating mediocre content. So I am actually thankful, although don't tell YouTube.
No, and I think that's where to summarize this episode, where it's like, it's always the platform versus the creator. Rarely do they work with the creator. They work with the advertiser. They don't work with the creator. They work with where the money's at. And one day it's going to pivot, and they're going to realize the audience and the creator is where the money is at. That's why you have a platform. And over time, there's places like the Weed Tube. There's obviously, CannabisLifestyleTV.com. There's places that we're trying to grow, but the algorithms and the money and the things behind some of these big corporate entities are there. But you got to, just like we said in the last episode, working with your environment, work with your environment, do what you can. Don't put the tags in there. Don't make content that's more creative. Have a second channel that you can monetize. Have a website where you can put your content there. Don't put all the eggs in that singular basket, because when you do that with YouTube, it'll come to bite you in the ass. It just will.
Don't give up.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, in any place you're at, just don't quit. Keep going, man. Consistency over time equals results. That's the key. Is quitting, you're definitely gonna lose. It's guaranteed.
And you don't have to be a content creator, right? In order to contribute to the community, right? Just being a viewer, hitting the like button, commenting, sharing.
The video,
those are forms of engagement that help with ranking on YouTube. And so the more engagement there is with this content, the more it can show up in search and be recommended through YouTube. And that helps, right? The more eyes we have on it, the more it gets normalized. And then more it will be legalized, across the board. I mean, thankfully, Canada's fully legalized now. US, it's sprinkling from state to state. I think we're going to have a separate episode on the whole legalization thing.
Yeah.
It's probably be the next episode or something like that. So looking forward to talking about that. But you don't need to be a content creator in order to contribute. If you do like, comment, subscribe, all those things, the creator is super thankful for things like that. So we don't say it enough how much we appreciate the viewer here.
That's it. We were at this episode, we were literally focused on getting shit on by YouTube. We would not be where we are if it was not for you. That fire and that momentum and that passion that I was talking about was you. It was your comments. It was your motivation. It was your desire to push us through this situation and to remind us that we were valued. There was a place for us. It wasn't our mothers. It wasn't our wives telling us this. It was you guys. Okay. And I Chris said it. I am so thankful for that, for the community that's been built around us, because wouldn't be here.
Man.
I wouldn't be here.
With that being said, I think it ends on a high note. We take a little bit of the sorrow to the happy side. For of course the crew here at From the Stash, it's your boy Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV, Pigeons 420, Mr. Grow It. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Stay lifted.